What's going on, everyone? Welcome to my channel. Another batch of GTA 6 gameplay footage has surfaced, and this time we're getting a pretty interesting look at some of the features Rockstar's been working on behind the scenes. The footage once again puts us in control of Jason, and he's driving the same high-end supercar we've seen in some of the previous footage. Eventually, Jason pulls into a gas station, and this is where things get interesting. As he approaches the fuel pump, a services menu appears while Jason is still sitting inside the vehicle. From what we can see, there are two options available. You can either refuel the vehicle or repair it. The refueling option costs around $32, while repairing the car costs approximately $2,429. Jason switches between the two options before eventually choosing to refuel. And honestly, this is one of those features that makes a lot of sense for GTA 6. We've obviously known for a while that fuel could potentially play a role in the game, but there was always a question of how Rockstar would actually handle it. Nobody wants to spend several minutes sitting at a gas station every time their vehicle needs fuel. Thankfully, based on this footage, it looks like Rockstar has kept the process fairly simple. You don't have to get out of the car, stand beside the pump, and wait for some long animation to finish. It's basically a quick interaction from inside the vehicle. And the same thing appears to apply to repairs. Instead of having to drive somewhere else to find a mechanic, you can apparently repair your vehicle directly at the gas station. That could become really useful during longer drives, especially if you're somewhere outside the main city and don't want to travel all the way back just to fix a damaged vehicle. After finishing at the pump, Jason gets out of the car and walks inside the convenience store, and we immediately get a look at some of the products available inside. One of the things that stands out is a glazed donut sitting at the counter, which appears to be available for purchase. It's a pretty small detail, but these are exactly the kinds of things that make the world feel more believable. Instead of stores just being buildings that you walk into for a mission, Rockstar seems to be filling them with actual products and interactions. Unfortunately, Jason isn't exactly interested in doing some casual shopping. Instead, he attacks the shopkeeper and turns his attention toward the cash register. And this is where we get another interesting mechanic. The cash register doesn't simply open with one interaction. Jason has to physically break it open, and once it's open, the money inside appears as individual stacks. The player then has to collect the stacks one at a time. From what we can see, there are around 4 stacks of cash inside the register. Again, it's a small mechanic, but it makes robberies feel much more physical. You're actually interacting with the register rather than simply pressing one button and instantly receiving the money. And then the police arrive. Jason already has a 2-star wanted level, and an officer pulls up outside the gas station. But what's interesting is that the officer doesn't immediately jump out and start firing. Instead, the officer appears to radio for backup. That could suggest that the police system is going to be a little more cautious and reactive this time around. Rather than every officer immediately knowing exactly who the suspect is and opening fire, they may actually assess what's happening and communicate with other officers before escalating the situation. Obviously, we can't know exactly how the final police AI will work from one short clip, but it's definitely an interesting detail. Jason gets back into his car and drives away, and the wanted level remains active. While he's driving, we also get another look at the radio system. A new song can be heard playing, giving us another example of the music that will be available throughout the game. The radio has always been a huge part of GTA, so it's always interesting whenever we get another glimpse at the music Rockstar has selected for the game. As Jason continues driving, we also get a better look at some areas of the map that haven't received as much attention in previous footage. We can see locations including Capri, Buckskin, and Emerald Springs. Emerald Springs appears to be much more rural compared to Vice City's main urban areas, which is another reminder that GTA 6 isn't just going to be about driving around a huge city. There are going to be rural areas, smaller communities, highways, and plenty of open space connecting everything together. Eventually, Jason pulls into another gas station, and this time, the robbery starts almost immediately. Jason walks into the store and pulls out his pistol, and the shopkeeper immediately reacts. He tells Jason to put the weapon away, while other NPCs nearby also begin reacting with fear and shock. This is probably one of the more interesting parts of the footage, because we're getting another example of how reactive NPCs are going to be. In previous GTA games, you could pull out a weapon in a lot of situations, and NPCs wouldn't necessarily react in a particularly detailed way. Here, the characters actually appear to understand what's happening around them. Jason then walks over to the register, shoots the clerk, and once again begins taking the cash. And just like the previous robbery, the register contains multiple stacks of money that have to be collected individually. Once Jason leaves the store, he gets back into the car, but this time, the police catch up with him. A chase begins, and during the pursuit, Jason ends up crashing directly into a truck. This gives us one of the better looks yet at the game's crash physics. The impact triggers a short cinematic slow-motion effect, and we can see the car getting absolutely destroyed. Parts of the vehicle begin breaking away, including a wheel, while other components, such as the brake discs, become visible. The bumper and other pieces of the car also appear to separate during the collision. And what's nice is that the slow motion effect doesn't last forever. It plays during the actual impact and then quickly returns to normal gameplay once the crash is over. It gives the collision a much more cinematic feel without completely taking control away from the player. And considering how much attention Rockstar appears to be putting into vehicle damage, I'm really interested to see how this system works across different vehicles, because if this level of detail is present throughout the game, crashes could look significantly more dynamic than what we've seen in previous GTA titles. The footage then moves into another short teaser. This time, Jason is seen approaching the entrance of a strip club called The Lights in Port Gellhorn. We only get a few seconds of the interior before the footage cuts away, so unfortunately, there's not much to analyze yet. But even that short glimpse gives us another look at the amount of interior detail being put into these locations. And that's really the interesting thing about all of these recent clips. Even when the footage itself is extremely short, we're constantly seeing another small feature or environmental detail that wasn't obvious before. Whether it's the way gas stations work, how stores can be robbed, how NPCs respond to weapons, how police react to crimes, or even how vehicles behave during crashes, Rockstar seems to be building a lot of these smaller systems into the world. Obviously, we have to keep in mind that this is leaked footage, and development builds can change significantly before the final game is released, so none of these individual details should necessarily be treated as completely confirmed features of the final version. But if these systems do make it into the finished game in anything close to this form, GTA 6 is looking like it's going to have a ridiculous amount of detail packed into the world. And honestly, that's probably what I'm most interested in seeing. We've already seen the big cinematic moments and the beautiful environments, but it's these smaller interactions that can make the world feel genuinely alive. So I'm curious what you guys think. Which part of this new footage has you the most excited for GTA 6? Let me know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more GTA 6 news, gameplay breakdowns, and updates. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.